All right, guys, welcome to week 7. We are getting really close to the end, and it gets to be a little bit bittersweet at this point because it's exciting, but it does mean that our time together is starting to close down, and that always makes me a little bit sad. Yeah, especially with this crew. I will be totally open and transparent with you. This has been a very unique and different experience, I think, for all of us. So it's been different. And I feel we had a faculty meeting today. And one of the things that we all shared, so PT, cycle, and group fitness, was that we really feel like we've been closer to this cohort, to this group, than we have been with our groups in the past, which is really unique. So thank you for being an open, willing, flexible community. That is pretty cool. So yeah, I know. Okay. Let's get down to some business. Quiz 3. How are we feeling about that? Did we get that done? Cool. Okay. And again, I can see it if you haven't done it. So I know who you are. I see it. Now, I'm not going to harass you just yet, but time is short. Okay. And remember that we do have an actual cutoff date where you will not have access to any of that stuff anymore. And you do need all of your assignments complete, including all the quizzes, okay, in order to pass the course. Okay. No worries, Cease. No worries. I stay on top of you guys just so that you guys can keep moving forward and be ready for the next thing. But, you know, if you had to take a few days off, if you're just a couple assignments behind, it's not the end of the world, right?
When does the exam open? After we take the last quiz?
Okay, we are, oh, you mean the final exam inside of our
Yeah.
modules? Yep, you have to have all of your activities and everything done. The final exam and the questionnaire are the
Will open.
last 2 things that will open up. Okay, yeah, it's kind of exciting. It's like you get to the final level of Mario and you get to defeat the boss. Okay, and Vic, for the CPR sign up, does it matter which link we use? Wasn't sure if they were different or not. You know, I'm not totally sure because I haven't been through all of that. You guys are the first ones to have that process ever. So let's do this. Let's save all of those questions, okay, for office hour afterwards so that we can stay focused on our review, but bring those questions to office hour. And if you already have experience with the CPR process that we're currently in or anything like that, come to office hour and give us your experience, okay? Awesome. All right, let's start sharing our screen. Make sure I have the right thing up. I don't have the right thing up. I don't need you guys to see what I'm trying to buy on Zulily today. I know. If you don't know what Zulily is, don't worry about it. You don't want to know because you will eventually spend way too much money on it. So just let it go. Okay. Here we are at week 7. So our agenda today, I already talked about quiz 3. Cool, got that off the list. Chapter 11 review. And then after that, we'll do a quick check-in, class plans. Where should I be? Well, you guys know that we're going to have to be finishing up class designs. Okay, it's going to be on the very last slide, our homework checklist, our to-do checklist, the last slide. Okay, and then we'll talk about next steps briefly. Okay, so I will again go over the process of how you're going to get into your AFA exam, okay, and what's going to happen between now and then. Okay, so stay tuned if you're interested in those topics, and then Q&A for office hour afterwards. Okay, chapter 11, class engagement and motivation. Oh, you know what, before I go on though, I do want to address this and we can talk about it in the next hour. I know that some of you want to form some study groups and maybe even discussed it in your small groups on Saturday during lab. So I would love to help you guys facilitate that if possible, and then I will let you guys execute on your own, okay? So again, if you want to be in a study group, stick around for office hour and we will talk about that. Also, focus hour topic for this week, I'm hoping that I can get the 2 guest speakers that I want. So fingers crossed. I'm not going to say who yet, but resiliency in the industry and work-life balance. That's kind of the direction we're heading in here for Thursday. And like I said, hopefully 2 guest speakers that have different perspectives different ends of the perspective spectrum. Okay, cool. And please forgive that I have not sent out an email yet today. I had my knee injections and has been a bit of a painful day for me. So that's what you're reading right here. So it's all good. Don't worry. I'll be better tomorrow. Okay. Rules of engagement. Performance here. We're talking about performance. So this is a part of when we discuss the vision that you're putting together for your classes. This is the experience that you want to deliver to your class. And big pieces of our delivery, of our experience creation, have to do with performance. So this is kind of the entertainment, performance, bravado part of what we do. Now, already some of you in your head are thinking, I'm going to be really good at that. Like I'm an extrovert, like I'm a little wild and crazy. I'm going to be awesome at that. And a bunch of you are also going, oh crap. Okay, that's going to push me outside of my comfort zone a little bit, right? But what did we talk about on Saturday? We're not going back into the comfort box. We're staying outside of it. So here we are. All right, so whether this comes naturally or not to you, this is good stuff to start thinking about. Performance and presence. So obviously the pictures on the right here are big name performers, and they're singers, and what they do so well, these professional performers, is that they create amazing experiences, and they do it consistently. It's hard for us to think about it that way because we go to one concert, right? We go to one Cirque du Soleil performance, but those people are doing that every day. So think about, have you ever been disappointed by a performance that you've been to? And we're going to keep talking about how we're going to maneuver through that. All right, performance and presence. So performance, your ability to convey a message theatrically. Theatrically. That's part of the whole thing, right? That also plays right into what we've talked about with fake it till you make it, right? You're putting on a bit of a theatric, okay? Even when you're having a really crazy day, you're putting on your stage face a little bit here, okay? Thinking about some details, your attire should definitely complement the class outcome for more engagement. Like take a look at the singer, right? What is she wearing? She's not wearing something she would wear at a grocery store, is she? No, she's wearing like a spacesuit. But it's
Pretty
creating.
darn close, Erin. Everybody goes to in yoga pants.
I save my silver yoga pants for date night, okay? I'm just saying. No. But she's got this costume on. Like, think about if you've ever been to like a Lady Gaga concert. Like, some of these performers put on like 11 different costumes during their performance. And the costumes at times match the song that they're singing. That's it, just one song, but it complements that song, right? It's like an art form. So just thinking about that, you should be dressing appropriately for the message that you want to be conveying to your people, okay? Presence. So having the ability to command attention, it's an important skill. It seems like a subtle skill, but it's an important skill to have, okay? How do you do that? Confidence. And as you can see, that's literally the next big subject we talk about. Confidence, preparation, which we started talking about from the very beginning of class. Just being prepared helps take away anxiety and uncertainty. Staying positive, even in the face of adversity, even when the stereo wires have been cut before you got to the studio and you got in a car accident and somebody in your class slipped and broke their ankle, and staying positive through all of that. Being inviting and approachable, getting rid of that RBF we keep talking about, right? Just having that approachability, and then promoting trust and compliance. I think compliance is such a funny word. It sounds like something that a robot would say, right? You must comply. But promoting trust and compliance, and the way that you do that is many, many different directions can build into that. But one of them is being a really good cuer, building trust with your members, that you know what you're talking about. by giving them education. Being educated and being confident in that education provides a foundation of trust. So let's talk about confidence. All right, expertise plus behavior. That's what creates confidence. So right now, you guys have been working on building up your expertise, especially, the first 4 weeks when it was tough and the academics were a bit grindy and gritty, but that's where you were building up your educational expertise. So you've already been taking care of that, and you're going to keep building that over the years, so that you stay on top of current information at all times. That's going to give you that expertise, which builds the trust. Now, the other part that we've started working on in live labs, of course, is our behavior. How do we show confidence? How do we become confident in how we're performing? Well, it's our behavior on stage. So here's some ways to keep working on that. Number one, using dynamic cueing. So we talked about basic form cues. That's kind of where we all start, right? And then just this last week, we dug into a little bit more creative cueing. So dynamic cues are a wide variety of cues so that you are getting to all personality types that everybody understands. And you are able to do that very fluidly. Okay, you gotta talk a lot, gotta tell them what to do. Alternating between watching movement, right? Looking at their bodies, which you have to do. You have to keep an eye on what their bodies are doing so that you know how to fix problems, so that you can see when they're getting too tired or when you need to maybe step in with someone. And eye contact, which is also very important. Okay, that's connecting with them, finding a balance between looking at their bodies and looking at their eyes. And I'll be really open with you. At first, it's going to be really difficult for you to make eye contact as you're building your own confidence, right? Because a very confident person is the one that can make eye contact. And here's my one grand example. Have you ever been in line at Target or the grocery store and there's a little kid behind you and they are staring straight at you? And you look right at them and you smile. They don't budge. They just keep staring at you because they haven't learned yet from the world that they shouldn't be confident, right? They will stare at you and make eye contact the whole time because they're just confident. They're just like, yeah, I'm too. Isn't that funny how they do? They just stare at you and you almost start to feel bashful about it. You're like, God, what? I have a booger on my nose? And really they're just being cheeky little human observers. That's right. They're just confident and watching you. So learn from the 2-year-olds in line at Target. Practice enunciation. So if you've ever been in theater, you practice the way that you enunciate your words so that you can speak clearly. There's some great things that you can do, so some tricks and tools that you can do when you are warming up your mouth if you need to. Okay, you can just Google theater verbal vocal warm-ups. And then, varying your tone of voice. So write this down because this is not in your book. This is from my own personal experience and teaching educational experience with instructors. There are 3 main tools that you can use with your voice. Some of you have talked to about this. Number 1, volume. Changing the volume of your voice is one tool that you have. That's a pretty obvious one. Okay, which ones are less obvious? Well, cadence of your words. So cadence means how quickly you do them or how slowly you spread your words out. The cadence of your words can have a really good impact, right? Like if I start talking really fast, you guys get started a little bit anxious and you gotta have a little bit more energy, right? Changes, okay? Cadence is another tool that you can use. Your third tool is going to be the tone of voice. Think about the way that you speak to a small child versus the way that you speak to your parents versus the way that you speak to your best friend when you're both drinking wine versus the way that you speak to your boss. So you will carry different tones of voice with you depending on the situation. When you're teaching a class, it's no different. Vary your tone of voice to keep it interesting and to keep them engaged. Okay? I see we've got some messages. Okay. Oh, that's funny. Nune says, anyone else just warming up their mouth? Right? Okay, and Nune, I'll answer your question in a minute, your other one. Okay. Projecting from the diaphragm helps give you at least the illusion of confidence at first, but then it becomes a natural thing to do. Again, another theater trick, right? How do you project your voice appropriately? And, okay, this is a side tip, projecting from the diaphragm will save your voice from overuse damage. Overuse damage. You do want to be aware of that. If you're getting hoarse after teaching a class, you need to start taking a look at where you're projecting from. And you need to start changing that because it can really damage your vocal cords. Okay, cool. Talking about engagement, you know, how do you keep everybody engaged and excited and entertained? Well, you just got your vocal tone, you know, or 3 different tips for your voice. So that's part of engagement. Because every time you change one of those things, people start paying attention again. Okay. Music. Oh God, like how often do we talk about music together? That's been such a huge topic for us. The music should support the class outcome. It should make sense for what you're teaching. Okay. Please don't play ballet if you're doing a kickbox class. Like, you know, that doesn't make sense. Assists in motivating participants. We already know this. Music can make people work 34% harder if it's the right music. That's real. Use a variety of types of music. Okay, even though you are naturally drawn to a few of your favorite types, maybe even if you're a super diverse music fan, there's still going to be some that you're more drawn to and some that you're less drawn to. But if you've got members like, well, how about you Texas peeps, right? You guys probably play a lot more country music, just generally speaking, than the types written by me in Chicago. Like country is just not a big genre out here in general. So, but every once in a while, I do want to include a country song in something I do, like a cycle class. That would make sense, right? Putting in a cool, upbeat country song. So just always thinking about ways to keep diverse music so that you're really just getting to everybody's like. Here's kind of your rule of thumb. If you have a class like cycle or like barbell strength, something where you do single songs, a good idea is to make sure that you have one song that everybody in the class can and look up at the end of class and go, well, I didn't like all the music, but I liked that one song, right? So everybody can at least say that much, because you're never going to please everybody in that class. But if you can at least present a variety of music, then they're going to at least go, yeah, but there was that one song that I really liked. Use trendy or well-known music to foster connection. This is really tricky too. So there's a finesse to this. You want to use trendy, well-known music so that people are enjoying it. Oh, Joe, what did you say? If you are on Spotify, I found this account that has some good ideas and class names as playlist. Cool, Joe. Love it. Thanks for sharing. Trendy, well-known music. Okay, so if you're really good with staying on the hottest trends for music, here's my tip to you. You're going to be on top of it, but most of the people in your classes are going to be about a month to a month and a half behind you. Okay, so by the time you're already sick of hearing the latest weekend song, they have just started hearing it. So keep that in mind. Use dramatic segments paired with cues. This is especially prevalent in cycle, barbell strength. When that dramatic segment pops in, the beat drop, the chorus, okay, when that's happening, make sure that you're pairing that higher energy with proper cues. You're going to go a little bit faster. You're going to pick up or you're going to change the pattern to singles, or you're going to stand up out of saddle and push a little bit harder, okay? That makes sense. Select music with lyrics that match movements. I think the obvious example here is Alicia Keys. This girl is on fire, right? Somebody starts screaming, my thighs are on fire, whatever, right? You can do that with a lot of different songs. So paying attention to your lyrics can help you with that. And stay on the beat. I'm going to say it again. Stay on the beat. Okay. If this is something that has been a struggle for you, just keep working on it. Okay. You just got to keep working on it, but that's going to be important. People are going to want to move on the beat. All right. Edutainment. I'm sure you're noticing that word, right? Education and entertainment combined. Informing participants what muscle they're working, why, progressions and regressions. These are all things we've been talking about big time with our cueing, okay? So you've got to have education in there. You need to tell them what's happening, okay? But you also have to entertain them. You're not just some, fitness robot spitting out dry information the whole time. Be funny. Be you, be funny. Tell bad dad jokes once in a while. Or as you get to know your members, start personalizing the way that you cue to them, right? And you're going to have that naturally start to happen as you get to know the stories of your people and as you get to know what's going on in their lives. Then it's going to be really fun for you to make those connections while you're in the middle of class, okay? Cece popped up some vocal maintenance tips for you guys, okay? Balancing these two things out is key. So just like anything that we're talking about, you probably are drawn to one or the other. And it's good to know that about yourself. One is going to be your strength, and that's cool. You can lean on your strength, but make sure you're still working on the other one as well. Stay out of your comfort zone. Okay, variety for engagement. We talked about this a lot too, right? We talk about making sure that you have an appropriate balance in your variety of the way that you teach class, the movements you have in class, the equipment you use, the music you use, okay? Thinking about overload, right? Progressive overload. We talked about that. Strength training. Progression in your classes. Are you having progression with them? You should be, for sure. So tips right here. And you guys can just take a look at it real quick. Okay? Just changing one exercise, adding in one new movement, right? Adding in one or two new songs and taking two out, right? Simple things. Changing order of movements. Totally. Maybe you started with upper body one week and just flip it and start with lower body the next week, okay? And then looking at sets, reps, rest or intervals ratios, right? All of this stuff, okay? These are simple ways for you to get variety inside of your classes without having to reinvent the wheel. This is familiar. This is now the third time you guys have seen this list. If you did not screenshot it the last time we were together, this is your last chance to do that. So go ahead and do that. Whenever you are going back through this stuff and you're figuring out how to cue, just go back over this list and think, well, what kind of cues have I been lacking in my classes lately? Videotape yourself, listen to the things you're saying, and see if during that whole class that you teach, you can tick off every single one of these items. Okay. Motivation is the art of getting people to do what you want them to do because they want to do it. Oh, snap. Okay, how are we going to do that? So there's basically two kinds of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic. And the name of those two alone should tell you kind of what they are. Extrinsic, from the outside. External, okay? The performance of an activity, so doing something, to obtain a reward separate from the activity itself. Think about that. Extrinsic motivation. We'll dig into that. Hold on. Intrinsic motivation. So doing something for rewards directly stemming from the activity itself. All right, go to your chat box, my friends. All right, type in one very short phrase that would be extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic. The reward comes from outside of that activity. Snacks. Connecting with people. Bikini body. You can eat these calories later. Imagine how many margaritas you can drink. Yeah. Losing weight, tank top arms, blood. I like how we're really focused on like body parts and alcohol, you guys. This is it's quarantine life right here. Now, Jessica, that's intrinsic. That's intrinsic. Free protein shake, Shannon. Yes, that is a very good example. Think of the way you'll feel tomorrow because of the work you put in today. So that would be intrinsic. There's kind of a fine line, isn't there? Because we say a lot of these things. So those are some great thoughts for you to have. So intrinsic, yes, Susan, a medal after a marathon. Now, Jess, why did I say that yours? She said this will help you walk up the stairs with that big pile of laundry. That is intrinsic because you directly want to be able to do that particular thing, and doing squats and lunges during this class will allow you to do that exact activity. All right, but let's dig into it a little bit deeper. All right, ways to motivate. Okay, and so now this too, you guys, remember when we talked about our cueing and the difference between motivation and empowering? So that's another different way to talk about these things. Motivating and empowering. Two different ways to do it. Motivating, time or rep countdown. Tell them how much longer they have to keep going for, and they'll be motivated to just hang on a little bit longer. Absolutely. That's motivating. Performance, compliment them to assist in finding the energy to push harder in good form. Yeah, you're doing an amazing job on these planks. Hang on a little bit longer. I'm loving your form on those squats. They look amazing, right? Give them a little positive pump up, okay? Notice that's not empowering yet though, is it? There's a difference. Okay, physical or emotional benefit, emphasizing the physical or emotional results of a movement. Okay, so that is like what Jess said, I'm going to be able to carry these laundry baskets up the stairs, right? Motivating them. Competition. If you have a group where this works well, it can be pretty cool. So using competitive elements like, oh man, your neighbor, Julie, she's 2 ahead of you on push-ups, catch up. Some people really do respond well to that. That's something that you can use when you get to know your members a little bit too, because some people don't want that. Here's a little prime time tip. The ones that like to be competitive are usually the ones that are more upfront. And the ones that don't want to get too competitive are usually the ones closer to the back. Now, I'm just giving a generalization. That is not always every single person, but generally speaking. But think about how these are different than empowering phrases that we use. You connect the dots yourself up here, okay? These are motivational. It'll get them through, but empowering shows them that they can do it on their own. They start to learn that they've got the power. Some of this stuff, it seems more subtle, right? All these little nuances to how you're cueing for them. Okay. Motivating with SMART goals, right? This is stuff that a lot of us have learned in the past. And quite frankly, I mean, as adults, we should probably have learned this in high school with one of those classes that we never took, right? Like we all took like home ec or tech. And I learned how to use a saw, but I never learned how to balance my checkbook, that kind of stuff. Like, never learned how to change a flat tire. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me how to do that. But I think this would be awesome to put into one of those classes that the high schoolers should be taking, right? Like how to make SMART goals in your life for anything that you do. People say things all the time. Here, this is a fitness one that I hear all the time that I have to call people on now. Man, I just want to lean out, or I just want to tone up. I just want to lose some weight. Cool. What does that mean? How do you know when you're going to hit your goal? Like what is, like that could stretch forever. Like you could say that forever and never reach your goal because you didn't actually set a goal, right? You just said something that sounded good in the moment, right? So when people do that, it's okay for you to call them on it a little bit and be like, well, okay, what do you mean by you want to tone up? Do you want to get more muscle mass? Do you want to improve your resting metabolic rate? You know, start talking about things like that so they can be more specific. And then we have to make it measurable. Okay, so you're going to add on 2 pounds of lean muscle mass in the next, how long? Oh, 2 months. 2 months. It's not a, is that going to be attainable though? Look at that. That's attainables on there. So now you have to know what's attainable or not. That's like when people say, I'm going to Mexico next week. I'm going to lose 10 pounds this week. You're like, what? What? So you're not going to eat for a whole week and you're going to live in a sauna. Okay. That sounds miserable, but have fun in Mexico. So it's okay for you to guide your people into taking these steps to make it specific and measurable, timely, you know, whether it's a week or 2 months, or realistic, attainable. All of these things make for a rock solid goal setting session. Okay. Okay, now I'm checking the chat real quick. Danielle, I literally just had a conversation with a friend about this. She was like, I'm not seeing results, but yet had no idea what results she wanted to see. Right? Yeah. And you're just like, no wonder you're not seeing results. Hello. Vic says, have you had a lot of members come up to you to ask how to reach their goals or ask for tips? All the freaking time. All the freaking time. Because you guys remember, you're the expert. You are the fitness professional in those environments. And I know we've talked about like what, stay in your lane and that kind of stuff. This is in your lane. This is big time in your lane. You're a motivator, an empowerer. You are their leader in these things. Like helping them set smart goals is a super easy and quick process, actually, right? Can you just ask them a couple questions so that they can get more specific? And then you learn what your people's goals are as well. So it helps you have a clear picture of maybe what would be good to put into your class design, or what would not be good, or how you can help them get to their own goals. And then they're going to have word of mouth about how amazing and helpful you are as a fitness professional in their life, right? Think about some of the people you've had like that in your life. And they actually you make a difference with this stuff. And then you celebrate with people because of like, I hit my goal. I gained 2 pounds of lean muscle in the last, 4 months, which is a little bit more attainable and realistic, to be honest, for gaining muscle. And then they celebrate with you and you're like, that's freaking awesome, right? Community. All right. Let's start talking about what influences human behavior. And you guys, there's no end to how you can study this stuff, right? Like you could be studying this stuff for years. So if you're interested in this stuff, go dig deep, right? Go dig deep, find reliable sources and go for it. All right, influences on human behavior. Cognitive influences, so ways of thinking, confidence, self-talk. What do you say to yourself when you're having a down day? How do you talk to yourself when you get up and look in the mirror in the morning? Okay, that's something that you can talk to your people about. I did a whole barbell strength class not even that long ago, and I wrote the word ants, A-N-T-S, up on the mirror with dry erase marker. It comes off. A-N-T-S. And all class, all we did was talk about getting rid of automatic negative thoughts. Okay, we're not going to let the ants crawl up our pants. Okay, the whole class was about self-talk and having positive self-talk. All right, self-efficacy. Do you actually believe that you can do something? Okay. The strongest predictor of physical activity, if you actually think that you can do it. I've seen this play out very, very, very abruptly when I was personal trainer. And it was a 140-pound tire that I would have people flip. That's not a very big tire, you guys. It's not. But whether people believed they could or not is exactly what ended up happening. So it was a bit of a test for me to see, Do they believe that they can do things? And then for me to help work with them to get them to believe that they could do things they didn't realize they could do. Confidence enhances exercise adherence. Okay, when people feel like they're doing well at dance jam and feel like they are rocking out Zumba class, they're gonna keep coming back. Whether they actually look like a dancing lobster or not does not matter. All that matters is how they feel about it. Tips to increase confidence. Performance accomplishments, hitting goals, modeling and mastery. Do they understand the form? Do they model the form well, or the choreography well? Verbal persuasion. I think I can, I know I can. Okay, that self-talk. Imagery and visualization techniques. That's what elite athletes do, is they do visualization techniques. You can do that with them also. Absolutely. Before we even get into this plank, I want you to envision how long you're going to hold it for. Just think about it and envision yourself doing it. Okay.
Hey, Erin.
Yeah.
One thing, just like a side note on self-efficacy, like I've worked out my whole life, but I've never really had really good upper body strength. And so when I started regularly going to barbell strength, I thought, oh, this is really going to get me there. So I'd always done push-ups from my knees, but always in my head, it was like, I have really strong legs, I have really strong core, but I'm never going to do push-ups from my feet. Like, I just thought, like, it's going to take me a long time to get there. This is what I thought. And it's funny how when you do have that self-talk, negative, that it will really, it will manifest itself. But the interesting thing was, I was in a HIIT class, I think. And this was a while back ago. And we went to push-ups, and I literally did not think about it. Like, I was already on my feet. And I started doing them, and I literally stopped and was like, oh my God, I just did, like, I can do this. Like, this is freaking amazing. But it was because I wasn't thinking about it. Like, I was just doing, like, I've been doing the strength classes and going. And then I realized, so it's like, it is very, very powerful when you plant those seeds of doubt. Because it's funny, when you're not actively thinking about it and you are in a class and you're just trying to perform the movements, you realize in those moments how powerful you really are. So anyway, I just thought I would throw it in there, because that for me was like a really great moment in my life. Because, I was like, I overcame this, and it was amazing. So
right.
Anyway.
And in the moment, maybe you don't realize how big of a moment that actually was for you. And then as you're able to digest what just happened, you realize how big of a deal it was, how deep that went, how that actually went into your deeply held belief system about yourself. What do you really believe about yourself? And the reason we talk about this, sure, for your own lives, absolutely, but also because if you have some of those experiences in your life, use those when you are motivating and encouraging other people. Because that's real. Like, Vic, that's a part of your journey now. And even though it was like a 2-second thought that you had in the middle of a HIIT class when you were like, whoa, like, that can change how you motivate other people. And they're going to start going, well, all right, if Vic did it, I'll try. Okay, I'll try. And then you've opened the door for believing. And that's the first step. So yeah, right. Hang on to that and use that story, and you guys learn from that story too. Okay. I love it. Okay. So other influences we have: interpersonal. We are very social creatures, my friends. Influences from those individuals or groups with whom one interacts regularly, which is a great reason why group fitness classes have such strong communities, because we are all bonding by doing the same activity and encouraging one another to have these healthy habits. Okay. Motivation, behavior influenced by that social support network. Okay. Do you guys have a set of gym friends and then a set of non-gym friends? Think about that. I do. And I know what happens when I'm hanging out with my non-gym friends. We drinking. And when I hang out with my gym friends, we working out. you know? So just those influential circles that you have in your life, think about how that forms what you do. And this includes companionship, encouragement, assistance, aid, advice, information from friends, family, coworkers. Like, these are our networks, you guys. These are our lifelines in our communities that we have around us, okay? Group-oriented programs are successful because they offer that social support. Even when you have a failure, okay, that social support is there for you to help get you back up. So that's important. And that is a huge thing for group fitness. So hang on to that one, okay? All right, affective influences. Influencing results from emotions. Influence resulting from emotions. Sorry, I said that wrong. Positive or negative emotions can change exercise and nutrition adherence. So, and this plays into all of your healthy way of life behaviors. I mean, think about when you are, all right, sorry, boys, I'm going to say this. When you're right before your period, okay, you're really crabby, you're down, you're feeling really like gross, and you know, maybe something stupid negative happened, right? Like maybe somebody was just mean to you in line at the grocery store. That 2-year-old was staring at you hard, right? It took you down emotionally. And so you were affected by that, right? So, and now your emotions are dragging you down. So how you pick yourself back up out of that. So exercise and eating well can have a positive effect on those emotions. All right, sensation influences, physical feelings. Remember the first time you ever did a group fitness class and you were, I don't know, crazy shy and then crazy sore afterwards? This is something for us to always try to come back to and remember, because now that we're the fitness pros, we will forget what it's like to be a beginner and to be physically uncomfortable, right? Or maybe you're back there. Maybe you're feeling a little physically uncomfortable in your jeans lately. Yeah, true story. I was totally going to wear my favorite jean shorts yesterday on my birthday. No. Anyways, avoid overloading participants with too much too soon, right? This is why we don't want to make things too crazy complicated for people. We want them to feel successful, even if they're going to be physically uncomfortable, because they're exercising, you guys. They should be getting a little uncomfortable, but not too uncomfortable. Encourage participants to work at a level that facilitates improvements without excessive discomfort, right? So this is that regression thing too, like giving them room and space to not always have to do the highest end of the elite exercises we're throwing at them, okay? Because they ain't gonna come back. Behavioral influences. Influences created as a result of their own behavior. So if they have positive feelings towards something, they're more likely to repeat that behavior, right? Self-monitoring helps one to be more committed to a program. So self-monitoring, an example for us would be your heart rate would be a way to monitor the weight scale, or the fat measurer, your body fat measurement. These are all just different self-monitoring things that we can look at to help you stay more committed to your programs. Positive reinforcement, right? Practice of offering a reward following desired behavior. And this is kind of what you guys were talking about when you were typing in some of your extrinsic ideas, right? Like, okay, if I do this class and I get to 500 calories, then I can have that Bloody Mary on Sunday morning or whatever. But the reward should not necessarily always be food, right? Because then we keep attaching weird emotions to food. So think about that too. But goal to increase likelihood of repeating behavior. All right, now we're going to move into the trans-theoretical model, okay? We're going to go through this pretty fast because it's actually pretty easy. This is always moving. It is always going. I want you guys to think about like, well, let's just talk about weight loss journey because it's easy. Think about the very first time you ever thought to yourself, maybe you never have, but thought to yourself, you know, I really probably should lose 20 pounds. Okay, this is the very first time you ever thought that. All right, so you're already past pre-contemplation at that point, right? So at this point, this is like my neighbor Robert down the road that sits on his driveway drinking beers every night, and he's morbidly obese and he just don't care. He just don't give a F, right? That's him. That's where he is. He does not even really understand that he has high risk behavior, so he has no desire to change said high risk behavior at this point, okay? He's just living his life, honey. He's living his best quarantine life. True story, actually. All right, so then this is when you have that thought, and you're like, oh man, I probably should, like, I don't know, lose 10 pounds. I probably should stop drinking every day on quarantine. You're like, all right, I'm thinking about it. I don't know when I'm going to make a change, when, but it's now become a seed that's in the back of your brain. Okay, next step is, all right, now you're like feeling antsy because your shorts did not fit very well when you went to go put them on. So now you're starting to think, ooh, I think I'm getting ready to do this. All right, and this is when people will do things like go take a tour at several of the gyms in the area, right? So now they're kind of moving into preparation. They're starting to maybe lay a little bit of groundwork so that they can start going for a goal. And now we hit individuals have made specific overt modifications to behavior within the past 6 months. So this is when you got your gym membership, you got going, and you are actively working to lose that weight, stop drinking every day, and get back into your jean shorts. You're in the middle of it, right? This is the struggle. And then you reach your goal, which was a SMART goal, wasn't it? It was a SMART goal. It had all those aspects to it. So you knew when you hit your goal, okay? And you have rearranged that old behavior that you had, okay? And now you're just maintaining it. But the whole process is going to start all over again for something else. Constantly, we should constantly be in this process of getting better, getting stronger, getting smarter, professional development, whatever. So this really pertains to all of those kinds of things, okay? Not just fitness. But this will help you understand where people are when they're talking to you. And you will start seeing a wide variety of places on this spectrum when you become a fitness professional and you're like talking to normal people. So when you're not at work, when you're not at the gym, when you're just talking to people that you've met somewhere, like some at a friend's party, and then they find out that you're a group fitness instructor. Because that's when everybody's going to start telling you, oh yeah, like I should probably lose 10 pounds. And then you're like, whoa, this is going to happen to you. Okay, building your brand and fitness community. Different subject now. All right, this is a bigger deal than it has ever been in past cohorts for us because we are living in a very virtual world right now. Okay. All right, I do want to check the chat really quick and see what I missed. Oh, happy birthdays. Thank you. Yes, it was my birthday yesterday. I drank a bottle of Prosecco while taking a cycle class and watching old Outlander episodes.
Good for you.
Yeah. Really weird.
As I sip on my whiskey.
At a girl, she's like, that's why I didn't put my camera on. All right, this is a big deal now, you guys. So let's talk a little bit about this. And again, this is a subject that you can dig very deeply into if you're interested in really developing your personal brand in a virtual and social media sense. There are a lot of places where you can go to learn about that, okay? Let's just get some basics out of the way, though. Part of your brand is your fitness message. Your statement or philosophy related to fitness. Okay, and when we're done with our lecture and we go into office hour, I have a couple of examples to show you of people that are doing a pretty good job of building their personal brand. Okay, but fitness message. So this is what you believe when it comes to fitness. Who are you? What is your foundation of beliefs when it pertains to fitness and health? Okay, then you bring it down even further. So this is like an informative statement about what you do as an instructor or what you want to do. Okay, and again, I will show you a really great example of this. Fitness vision statement. So this is an inspirational statement about what an instructor wants to be in the future. So if you've ever written a resume, this is kind of like your the objective of the resume almost, right? Like I want to be a ... Cool. So having all of these things set up in your head, not only for social media or on a resume or any of that stuff, but just having this stuff in your head and developed in your own head, even written down for your own development, is going to help you figure out how you prepare for things, how you teach things, how you self-promote, and then how you continue to grow. So, homework. I think I just heard a collective. It's not true. I didn't hear anything, but I can hear your minds. Pretty easy one though. So taking a look at what is your fitness message, the one that you want to live by. This will be a part of your homework. You're not going to share it with anybody except for yourself. And maybe if you have a study group that you end up getting together with, that would be a fun thing for you guys to share. Okay. But homework, think about it. What do you believe about fitness and health on a deep level? All right. Beyond class engagement, how can you continue to develop bonds and community inside of your classes? Well, before class, help them get set up, help new people like orient themselves to the environment that they just walked into, right? Help them arrange equipment. If you need to set up for circuits, set up ahead of time, right? Make sure your stuff is set up ahead of time so that you're free to help everyone else. Go stand outside the studio, hold the door open and hand out towels as people are coming in. That's a great time to connect with them and smile and just kind of give them a rundown of like what you're going to be doing that's special in class. Give them a little teaser as they come in or say, hey, how's your son, Brian? Whatever, check in with everybody. Questions that you might want to ask. What classes have you taken this week? Have you any fun plans after class today? You know, are you sore from yesterday's workout? That's also a great time to check in with them and see how they're doing physically, right? Okay, after class. This is a beautiful time too because everybody's like inhibitions are down a little bit because you just beat the crap out of them, generally speaking. And they're open to like discussing things with you and they've let go of some of their stress and some endorphins are starting to kick in. So they're feeling awesome. So now's a great time to get that face-to-face communication in, right? Help them put stuff back. You know, they shouldn't expect you to clean up that whole space all the time and, you know, do it together and have that interaction, have that social time while you're cleaning up the room. You know, it's okay to say, hey guys, make sure that when you're putting stuff away, it's lined up really nicely or whatever, right? Talking about things like, what was your favorite song today? Did you like the new playlist? Oh, okay, you didn't. Okay, what did you not like about it? Or what did you find most challenging in class? You have big plans for the weekend. That kind of stuff. Great check-in time, okay? 2 slides left, guys. Hang in there. See that? I just motivated you to hang on for just a little bit longer. Yeah. See? Woohoo! We can make it now. I believe I can. All right. So social media etiquette. This is kind of a newer subject for us, right? Like make posts that support your fitness message, mission, and vision statement. So what we just talked about, like knowing what your beliefs are, will make sure that what you're presenting to the world matches that. I'm sure you guys follow people where they're like all over the place, right? I see it a lot right now in Facebook posts and stuff where they say they believe in one thing and then, you know, the next week they're talking about the exact opposite. And you're just like, that doesn't make sense. Don't be that person. When you're posting, give credit to original writers, right? Make sure that your quotes that you're using are actually quoted to the right person. So that Maya Angelou quote that we keep using, remember we used it last week about people will remember how you made them feel. I see that like totally mistagged all the time. All the time. So double check that when you're using a quote, that's actually the person that said it. Artists, credit to original artists. That kind of plays into the music thing a little bit. Or owners of images and stuff. Another really great thing to do here is if somebody took a picture for you, right? And you're using a picture that they took, like if, say in the middle of class or something, and they just happen to get a really great shot of you teaching, give them credit. You know, just give them credit. Thanks for the great shot at Anteater number 5 or whatever their Instagram tag is, right? Get permission from individuals before tagging them. especially before publicly discussing anything about them. A lot of you guys are going to come across a lot of amazing stories, right? Like these amazing things that people tell you about their own lives, but about how you've impacted their lives as well. And it's great to share some of that stuff. Just make sure that you either do so in an anonymous way or that you get their permission to share that. And even if I do have permission from someone to share it, I still don't share their name. It's just, once that goes, onto the interwebs, it's out there. It can go anywhere. So be mindful of that. Deleting spam or offensive material immediately. And that's kind of up to you to moderate your own social media stuff. And this might look different for those of you that have a fitness only account versus, a personal family oriented account, or if you have one that merges both. Avoid impolite topics. And that sounds so 1950s, doesn't it? But it's true. Like if you're going to have a professional posting account, like just, dude, stick to fitness, stick to health. Okay. Don't need to talk about anti-vaxxers or whatever you like, those subjects that really trigger people, because then you get stuck in the crosshairs. Deleting or removing tags that don't resonate with your brand. Right? Like I don't tag a bunch of supplement companies. And I've been asked many, many times, especially lately, to collaborate with athletic clothing brands or supplement brands. Number one, it doesn't mean much if they ask you to do that, because they pretty much ask everybody. So even though it makes you feel special in the moment, just do realize that they're asking pretty much everybody, because that's how they get free advertising. So just be aware of that. If it's something you want to do, that's cool. Some people like doing that and it's all good. But that does not speak to my brand, because I drank the Lifetime Kool-Aid. That's the world I live in. That's a part of my brand. So I'm not going to put a bunch of supplements out there that Lifetime doesn't sell and that I don't also believe in, because most of the supplement brands out there are complete crap. Let's just be honest. Okay. But think about that stuff. Okay. Your image. And again, we could dive into social media for like 3 weeks alone, right? Hey, guess what? We're on the last slide. Hey, buddy. Kelsey, you got your little buddy there. I saw him hanging out with you earlier. Hey, dude. Hi. Hi, honey. Oh, look at your cute smile. I know. You're adorable. All right, what's our to-do list, my friends? Well, your big homework is to finish your class design, okay? That needs to be finished pronto, because it's going to be practice time, and I'd like you to have it pretty much solidified. If you have to make small tweaks and stuff, that's fine, but get your class design done so that you can start practicing. Write a SMART goal. Just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. Try to write a SMART goal, whether it's a real goal for you or something that you're just going to make up to give it a try. Practice that so that when you're counseling your members on how to do that, you've done it a few times yourself and you understand the process a little bit. And then write your fitness message or vision. Figure out what you believe, and maybe that takes you a little bit longer, or maybe you already know. But go ahead and write that down. Put it on paper. Okay, also, you guys need to be finishing up all of week 7 modules and quiz 3. Got to stay on top of that, so when we get to the final exam, you're ready and you're not rushed when you need to get to the final exam, okay? Oh, and then, so practice, practice, practice. Practice, practice, practice. Say that, buddy. Tell mommy. Say, Mommy Kelsey, practice, practice, practice.
Say it? No?
No. He'll say it later when you're trying to get him to go to bed.
Oh, he will. He will.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing this screen. There you are. I love it. Now I can see more of you. Okay, let's check the chat. Okay, Vic, class design, what is the target time frame? Like 10, 11, 12 minutes max. Okay. For your class design.
I thought we were doing that for the body of the workout. It was like 10 minutes. Wasn't it like 3 minutes for movement prep, 10 minutes for the body, and then like something for the cool down, like 5 minutes?
Yep, your class design is the body of the class.
Oh, okay.
It's interchangeable.
Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So 10, 11, 12 minutes max for the body of your class design. Okay. And about 3 to 4 minutes for your warm up and 2 to 3 minutes for your cool down. That's what we're aiming for here. Okay. Okay. All right. I am going to pause the recording. So if you joined us for the recording, awesome.